vida o un plan de retiro.
All right,
Pues
welcome
esto para
everyone
mí
to another
me
edition
parece
of
muy
Lupus
bien,
Talks.
algo así
I'm your
súper
host, Ed
rápido,
Peterson,
súper
of course.
fácil,
I'm the
y solo se
program
tienen que
director
hacer
for
dos.
Lupus Talks with Dr. Calvin
Entrar
Levine.
en
Of course,
la,
in
la
Mr. Lewis
website
Olson.
dos veces al día
It's going to be
entrar
a
los
great
emails
opportunity to keep
y solo
sharing
con eso anda
what they're
metiendo la
doing.
cuenta.
As we give out
Y
information
entonces es
that's going to
algo
be
para mí
relevant
que yo sé que le
for your
gustó
growth, for
a
your
Francisco. Ustedes que
information,
conocen a
and then
Francisco
also how
ya
we
tiene
can connect
años
with each
con
other
su day trade,
across
no
the
sé qué,
country for
que
those
hacen
who
todos los
are
días.
suffering from
Y
lupus.
pues
So
yo
with that,
dije a
I'm
mí,
going to let
pues
Dr.
si
Wynn
a él
take
le
it
gusta
away.
esto,
Hi, how's everyone doing?
que
I hope everyone's having a nice afternoon.
mucho más. Y entonces aquí andamos donde ya.
I'm here getting ready to give some information out on lupus relationships. But first of all, I'd like to thank God for everyone joining. I'd like to thank Ed for having us on. I pray for those shut-ins. I pray for those that are behind bars, Father God. I pray for our listeners. I'm asking the more listeners, the more subscribers that we can get, the more we can stay on. You know, the more we can have visibility on this show. And that's what I'm asking of you. Just don't stay on and look at it. Subscribe. We'd love to have you as family. Anyway, Dolores and I stopped off at relationships, autoimmune relationships. And I pulled up some information on lupus, and it says lupus often strains relationships due to chronic pain, fatigue, and the unpredictable nature of flares with 73 to 76 of patients reporting negative impacts on social romantic life, and often exacerbating by the invisible
Invitar a nadie.
Oh, okay. Ed, that was Lois. She said you sent her the wrong link.
Entro los señales aquí, déjame ver si puedo mostrarte
So
la.
as we go again, lupus often
No sé
strains
si
relationships due to chronic pain, fatigue, and the unpredictable nature of flares. That's so important because when you have any autoimmune disease, you get to the point you don't want to be bothered with. You don't want to entertain a relationship. You just want to be by yourself and figure it out. The pain that continues to gnaw at your flesh, the inflammation, the whatever, diverticulitis, certain things you can eat, certain things you can't eat, all that gnaws away at you as a person. And for that reason, many of us just stay the simple life. We stay to ourselves, so we have to deal with the pain of dealing with it. Yes, we maintain strong, healthy relationships with our families at times, so the close ones that know, the mamas, the daddies, the ones that know what's going on, some of the brothers and sisters. But it requires communication. And that we don't have is communication, patience, and adapting to new routines. Communication is the key. And everyone should understand that communication is the key. I repeat that. A closed mouth don't get fed. That's the old saying, it don't get fed. So with this aspect in hand, you have to let your doctors know. You have to go to them and say, look, I'm having problems. I didn't want to walk around with a walker, but I let them know I was bumping into something, doing triple flips. And that is not exaggerating or overdoing it. I was when I flipped over just a drawer and I hurt myself. So they found out I had the vertigo. I had vertigo, so I'm on vertigo pills. And then when I had that pain that dealt with shaking, the tremors, they gave me medication for that to help me. So those things, if you don't relate them to your doctors, both doctors, rheumatologists, and your intern, your medical doctor, the primary one, I should say, you're not going to get the help that you need. If you feel you're not getting the medication that I didn't get my hydrochloroquine, and they had stopped giving it to me for 3 months. When I went back to my doctor, he says, "Well, why have you stopped taking the hydrochloroquine?" I said, "Well, because they said I didn't need it." He said, "I wanted who's they?" I said, "The insurance company." The insurance company is not the doctor. So we all have to follow up with this because decisions are being made on our behalf for dangerous autoimmune disease that can actually, it's a silent killer, and it can do just what I just said, a silent killer. You also need to get a lot of rest. If you're going to have relationships, you have to get lots of rest. Plan that date. If you want to go out, plan that date. Get the rest that you need. Eat the nutritious food that you need. If you go out on a date just because his food is piled up on one end at a buffet and your food is not, and he says, "Oh, get this, get that. Oh, you can have this. Oh, it's not going to hurt you." It is going to hurt you. You need to explain to him the situation at hand and what needs to be done in your realm of life. You need to tell him, "I can't have these things because it sets off a flare." And if he's understanding of the relationship, he's definitely going to take that into consideration. Again, it is communication skills that you need to develop a strong connection with that partner, with that friend, with that family member, so both of you can adapt to the lifestyle that you have. When we look at the key aspects of relationships in lupus, we're looking at the impact of intimacy. Chronic illness often reduces libido and physical energy, leading to decreased sexual activity. Partners may need to redefine intimacy, exploring non-sexual affection, especially during pain-filled flare-ups. You can hold hands, you can talk about the past. Um, there's a lot of things you can do. He can just take you, or she can take you in their arms, man and woman, in the arms, and just hold you. Your mom, your sister, your dad, your friend, the personal friend that you have. Just tell them to hold you until the pain, so you could feel the pain go away. Love does a lot of things, and when love is involved in relationships, that person that holds you, it seems as though that pain is just gone. It's just gone. Somebody else believes in you. Somebody else knows um, the pain that's there. You need that intimacy. You need that non-sexual affection, because that's exactly what you need to, get into healing yourself, going into remission. The invisible illness challenges, that's another one. Many patients report that loved ones struggle to understand or believe the severity of their symptoms. That is also true, the severity of their symptoms. They need to understand and believe the severity of their symptoms. If you walk around the house and say, "Oh, I'm okay, I'm okay," I've seen some of them do it, and then they call me up and say, "Well," I said, "What did you tell them?" "Oh, I'm okay, I'm okay." No, you're not okay. If you go into your physician's office and he says, "Well, Calvinia, how you doing today?" And I let him know I'm not okay. I have good days and I have bad days. And that's what you need to address with your doctor, with that physician. The bad days are more than the good days. And define to him the bad days. Write down the things that causes the bad days to be bad days. That's very important because that's the severity of your symptoms. Education and clear communication about daily limitations are crucial. That is very real. Education and clear communication about daily limitations are crucial. I just mentioned that when you talk to your doctor, you talk to your lupus doctor, your rheumatologist, you talk to your um, uh, you talk to your other doctors that are dealing with various aspects in your body. One in particular, because I have a rash that's going on my hand. I don't think you can see it, but it's a huge light part on my body, and I'm getting those light colors on my legs and on my arms, and that could be the what is it? It's not vertigo is when I said that's dizzy. Vertigo. It might be that. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And he saw that on my hand, and he said, "Well, I'm going to send you to a dermatologist so they can figure out what we need to do, and how we can stop the spread." Is Dolores on yet, by any chance?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Okay, welcome. We finally got you on. So we're talking about the different aspects of communication with the patient and with the and with your physician in relation and intimacy with your partners. You may need to redefine the intimacy, exploring non-sexual affection, especially during pain-filled flare-up days. So sometimes you don't want to be bothered. Sometimes don't touch me. Don't touch me. Sometimes you just don't. Even if it's a touch, even if it's a hug, you hurt so bad all over your body. When they do give you a hug, it hurts. They don't mean any harm, but it's there. It's like I know about a year ago, and I told Dolores, I'm pretty sure I had, I forgot the name of it. It just slips out of that foggy mind. Um, I had, it was, you couldn't touch it. You couldn't touch my body because it was burning up. It was flaring up, and I don't know what do they call that, Lois? Do you know when they say that elders, older people get it too? It was a flare, and it had red spots on it and everything. Well, anyway, that's what I had, and I didn't want anyone. I couldn't even put on my clothes right. I couldn't put clothes on the top of my shoulders because of the bumps and the heat on it. It was just like it was burning up. We talked about the invisible illness challenges, Dolores. Patients report their loved ones struggle to understand and believe the severity of their symptoms. That's where we are now. Would you like to chime in on that as well?
Yeah, there's a lot of times that I'm go back to what it was saying that there's times that people yeah, it's very uncomfortable for them to go, to have that feeling, where they go through, especially when they somebody wants to hug them or something like that, and you get the pain. That's just like fibromyalgia. When somebody touches them real hard, they could feel the pain all
Yeah,
through their whole
fibromyalgia.
body. And so the thing, the information that goes to the body. I know you get some kind of spots. Some people that get the redness and stuff like that. It's just part of the information that's
Mm-hmm,
going
mm-hmm,
on.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
so when that
Excuse me.
happens, some people they will get like those red reactions, and they flare up.
Uh-huh.
They flare up. Some of them look like they have also like that, like those measles. They almost look
Mm-hmm,
like measles.
mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm,
people and then it spreads, and then it looks like like the measles. Yeah, more like the measles. It looks like some people get it like that, or some people just get fine red bumps,
mm-hmm,
and that's
mm-hmm.
that's a lot of things that
Occur on
happen
the body.
with the body. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's important to discuss with our physician step by step. Tell them
Mm-hmm.
everything about the body.
Education's clear. Clear communication.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very-
yeah. What do we do with when we're talking about the next issue? Would be support system dynamics. Effective long-term relationships involve partners who actively learn about the disease and offer support. Friends may need to adjust to lower energy activities. Now, some people say, "Well, that's taking a lot out of me. I'm high pack. I like to get out. I like to run around the park, and I like to do 5 miles, 6 miles." And you way behind me. You're not even at a half a mile. What do you do with an attitude of that nature? When you're out with a friend and that is said to you. I know that's a downer to you, feel a downer as well. How would you relate to that? What would you tell that person?
First of all, you just explain to them that you can't do these things like you used to, and so they will have a clear understanding. But if they're badging you, or something like that. That's not a good idea. You have to let them know. You have to stand your health boundaries. It's very important.
Mm-hmm. But you do need that support. That dynamic is so important. It is so important that you have that, because you don't want to come back to, as we used to call it, the pad, the pen, or whatever. You don't want to come back to the house, and you've been beat verbally as this person, mom, this person didn't do this person didn't do that, and I let her know that the disease that she has is can get better if she exercises like I do. Well, my body is not, built up like your body because you don't have all inflammation running in your body. You see what I'm saying? So that needs to be a clear communication cut to the family. And if, in essence, the family should understand that is so important. That I have inflammation, I have pleurisy, I have chest pains, um, I have that inflammation of chest cavity where it makes me feel like I am having a heart attack if I push it too much. You got ordinary people having heart attacks after they exercise off a treadmill. Is that not correct? Would you like to respond to that, Dolores?
Yes, definitely. And I'm gonna piggyback on that one question too, because yeah, the support is very important too. Because sometimes we don't want to do things right, but if we can't do it at the moment, yeah, that's understandable. But if it's something that we just feel low self-esteem because of our condition, then it's good to have somebody to really have that support to push her
Mm-hmm,
in a good way. It's a good pusher
mm-hmm,
because they want to see you healed. They want to see you
mm-hmm,
achieve in
mm-hmm,
life. And so the best, yeah. So that's the best thing to do. Yeah, it's very, very important to have that support. Open up to your family. Open up to
mm-hmm,
your friends.
mm-hmm.
But
Because
if you have a bad influence friend that's telling you wrong, yeah, don't follow
80%.
that advice, but follow the good advice.
Well, stats say that under daily adjustments, 80% of patients need to change plans due to illness. 80%. I know I'm part of that 80%. I used to walk around this whole neighborhood and do 6 miles. I had my walker, and I'd take the walker and go sit down, stop off and get some coffee at this little coffee place, and just walk and walk. And my son was so proud of me, but it got to the point that, hey, I can't push myself like that. I have to have another venue. I can do like 2 miles, but it has to be in the fall. It can't be out here in the hot sun that's pulling on my chest. It just can't happen that way. And that's why I say again, I open up with clear communication. We cannot do it all. We seem like we used to. When I was normal, I hit 23 companies in one day soliciting for the company that I was working for, that I was head of, asking for donations. And that's no lie. That was in Silicon Valley. I was in and out of my car, in and out of my car. If they weren't available, I'd leave the information, tell them what it was about, ask, can I get a card? And I would have my office follow up with those individuals where I dropped those cards at. That was what you call work. That was work. And then get on a plane and go someplace else because I was working also with the NAACP. So I had to get on a plane and get to LA and get ready for the Image Awards, something like that. I had to do all that. And I didn't complain. That's what I like to do. That was my hustle. People say that was my hustle and grind. That's what I had to do, and that's exactly what I did. And it was experience that I'll never forget. If you want something bad enough, you'll hustle for it. Now, with us lupus people, I don't want you guys to have a pity party and say, I can't do this, I can't do that. Yes, you can. Just put limitations on it. Don't give in to that body because once you give in, right, Dolores, you're done. You're gone. You know, it's going to overtake inflammation. It's going to overtake it. Get to the point where you can't get up out of bed and your legs won't act right and all that. You can't just stay in that bed 24/7. Do you have any response to that, Dolores? I guess I keep on. Oh, I think, did we lose her? Well, anyway, the 80% patients need to change plans due to illness. Now, this often requires shared responsibility where partners take on more household tasks during their flares. Now, I like that. I love that. Before my brother, thank God, he just had a defibrillator and a pacemaker. Before then, he still had it. He would take on a lot of the household chores because there's only certain chores I could do that that I can do up under my illness. Because if I do too much, I start breathing hard. My breathing is bad. I have to go lay down. It's just a variety of things. Chest hurts and all of that. So I have to pace myself, and that's what I do. I know now what I can and can't do. I can put a little bit in the wash machine and wash it. As far as overload, I don't. In my basket, I don't overload my clothes. I know if I have a section of clothes that I need to wash, I'll wash those clothes. I won't wait till it gets to 3 or 4 loads, then I have to wash all of them all day. That's ridiculous. That's just me. That's what I have to do. So that's where I'm at now, and I suggest that this is just my opinion. Start thinking of things in smaller amounts. If you think of them in smaller amounts, you're better off because you can do. Get that attitude, I can't, I can't, I can't. Do a can do attitude. A can do attitude is a better attitude than I cannot do. If you have any questions or anything related to this broadcast, please drop a line to us and let us know. We'd be happy to answer those questions. We don't know all the questions. And I also want to say we have a disclaimer that we're dealing with advocacy and educational awareness at Lupus of Nevada. We don't have the answers. We just have information, educational information, and resources that we go look at constantly. Um, and I just don't want someone to say, well, I heard off Lupus Nevada. They said this and they said that. No, we didn't. We gave the educational information and the resources where you can get it from. So please understand that. When we look at the building resilience, that's another thing, building resilience. Successful relationships with lupus are often built on trust. Let me go back over there. Successful relationships with lupus are often built on trust. You have to have trust. If you don't have trust, honesty, and a willingness to adapt, then you have nothing. You have nothing. You don't have the trust. You don't have. Um, you're not building on anything. That's how trust happens. Is building on. Uh, that's how it happens at dog barking. I went with my fall. You have to build on trust, and most of us, that's life. If we don't trust our friends, our partners, whatever, we've got issues with that. We stay in our cocoon, and a lot of our people stay in our cocoon. They stay in our cocoon, and that's not a good place to be. They can close the door for me, please. Thank you. That's my little brother who just had surgery. So we stay in our cocoon, and it's not a good place to be because we get lonely. We start coming out with, oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe, and it happens. Maybe I should take more medication than I should. Forgetting your medication. I thought I took that levothyroxide, for my thyroid. I thought I took that blood pressure pill. One time, it happened twice. I taken 2 blood pressure pills, one right after the next, right after the next. And I forgot and I passed out on the floor. And the only ones that were here in that house then, a couple of years ago, when my brother came to stay with me, was our pit and the Shar-Pei. Those are the only, and a cat. And the pit got me up. I mean, they kept licking me, and the Shar-Pei licking me in my face and nudging. He took his nose and nudged and nudged. And, excuse me, let me get back in the camera. And nudged until I, regained consciousness. Another thing that is good for me, and I emphasize that more so than anything, is to have that support dog or animal, because it's so important to have that emotional pet that can help you, that can actually save your life. I mean, I know mine has done things to help me, and it basically, I can say, he saved, through the grace of God, he saved my life. Because if it hadn't been for my dog here, or my animals here, I would have been a goner because they know what to do. And training, you can get the training for those animals as well, and then you can get licensed for them to be an emotional support. Again, this is what I do. This is just my opinion. It's fun for me because I have something to hold, something to pet, um, a loyal animal that's there for me. And that's what I like. We were raised up with. So I'm going to end this. I see Ed came back on, and I don't know where Dolores got cut off. Ed.
Oh no, you got 2 more minutes if you want.
I got how many minutes?
You got 3 more minutes actually.
Okay, well we can. Okay. Also, I talked about building resilience. Successful relationships with lupus are often built on trust. That is very important that you have that. You have to have weekly check-in schedule time to discuss feelings and any frustrations. You have to have that. That's tips for partners and patients. You got to have a weekly check-in schedule, a weekly check-in schedule. That's so important. The time to discuss feelings and frustration. If that means, God bless my mother if she was alive. She always checked up on me, even before. Well, she didn't know. She passed on after I was diagnosed with lupus, but still, she did a check on me all the time. And you have to have that person or those individuals in your family that would do a scheduled time to discuss feelings and frustrations. They do a check-in. How is Calvini? How's Dr. William? What you doing? What did you have to eat? Are you eating? Because at times lupus gets to the point where you don't want to eat. Then you have to adapt intimacy. Use warm baths or pain medication as needed to use prompts like pillows to support and make physical connection more comfortable. The holding of the person, the holding of that person, and just go to sleep. Just hold that person and just go to sleep. Seek support. Utilize resources such as Lupus Connect to connect with others facing similar challenges. And a resource is called Lupus Connect. That's Lupus Connect, CONNECT. And they have other individuals on there that have these similar situations here and more of them because I'm connected to them as well. So I'm going to bid you guys a wonderful, wonderful week. I thank you so much for joining me and being with me. I'll give you back to Ed, and I'm sorry that Dolores was not on. She got off.
No, she's on.
She's on. Dolores, you have any ending things to say?
Yeah, this is pretty good. Even though we had some streaming issues with me, and then it got cut off too.
Okay.
So, but like I said, that the best thing was just stay healthy, and do as what your doctor requires you to do, and take some good notes. It's always good to take your notes. Note takers are always the best.
Amen.
And so you could get all the education that you need, and anything needs to be addressed. Make sure that you have clear communication. That's the key word, clear communication.
We did check-ins too, Dolores, where, weekly check-ins, scheduled time to discuss feelings, because my family over there, Dolores, and they're checking with me all the time. Sometimes Dolores, her mother said both Dolores and I should be living next door to each other because we talk to each other 7, 8 times a day. A day. Every time she turned around, and we on the phone talk 7, 8 times, and she turned around in the other room and said, y'all need to be living next door to each other with all that stuff going on. And we're not gossiping. We're talking about fashion, and then we talk about lupus, and then we talk about Ed, the things that he's done and what he's going to do for us and how we're going to do this and that. That's what we talk about. We
got to make sure we have Ed in there.
Yeah. So there you go, Ed. And we talk about God. God comes first.
All right. But thank you all for this edition, for tuning in for this edition of Lupus Talks. As always, we always have good pertinent information to share on a regular weekly basis. As we now start the new year of 2026, as we close out the month of January, we'll be moving to the month of February, which of course this year is going to be moving along as well. So what are we doing to continue to help grow, build, and educate each other on references of things that's going to matter the most. So that's what's going to be the key to our success and to helping others as we help ourselves. So tune in again. If you already want to check us out, go to the website at lupusnevada.org. You can also check out the YouTube channel as well as lupusnevada.org, as well as the Facebook social media page on Facebook, lupusnevada.org. So now I got all that out the way. You guys have a great afternoon, great evening. and keep the faith and keep building your dream. We'll talk to you again next week.
Hemos hablado de eso.
God bless you guys
en
all.
detalle.